This is a stimulus and social security update. Got some important updates to share with you. Some good news shared about new inflation data that just came out. It has gone down. When GOP plans to cut social security, I'll let you know what's going on with the infighting there and if it will happen. There are inflation relief checks being delayed for millions of Americans with a new payment schedule. I'll let you know what that payment schedule is. And there are one-time direct payments of $800 only available for one final month, and federal direct payments of $1,200 going out to millions under this new thing. And then Bernie Sanders calls out the corruption of pharmaceutical industries, of how taxpayers are basically getting screwed. I'll let you know what Bernie Sanders says in a clip, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Thursday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 checks to my subscribers. Details of how you can sign up down in the description below. So consumer prices fell 0.1% in December, in line with expectations from economists. So today is the day where all the inflation data comes out, and I'd say it's getting better. So consumer price index fell 0.1% in December, meeting expectations for biggest drop since April 2020. Excluding food and energy, CPI rose 0.3%, also in line with estimates. And on an annual basis, headline CPI rose to 6.5%. Core increased 5.7%. So we're at around 6.5%, it looks like, which is, if we look at the chart right here, which is getting good. You can see we're past the peak of 9% back in June, and then it went to 8.5, 8.2, 8.2, 7.8, 7.1, and now 6.5%. So things are looking better. Looks like things are getting, it's still not good, but it's getting better. You can see the downward trend is happening. We're past the peak. And then President Biden is to speak on the economy after key report shows U.S. inflation is easing. So we'll probably hear from President Biden later on today, which I'll share in tomorrow's video of what he says about inflation, probably, touting that his plans are working. And then GOP divisions over Social Security Medicare cuts forecast tough fights ahead. So before I get into this, one thing, it is beneficial for Social Security to have the inflation ease now, because with an 8.7% COLA, with the inflation CPI at 6.5% and going lower, this could be the year where Social Security recipients sort of get ahead and maybe get some breathing room. So that's, somewhat something good to look forward to. GOP divisions over Social Security Medicare cuts forecast tough fights ahead. So House Republicans are divided over cuts to Medicare and Social Security, setting up what could be a fierce internal clash over the future of the nation's top safety net programs when Congress delves into budget fights later this year. So it's not going to happen now, but yeah, there are some Republicans who say, no, just leave Social Security alone. Other Republicans are saying there needs to be cuts because it's affecting the budget. So yeah, we're probably not going to see these big fights up until when the budget is due, like around maybe August, September. Maybe something sooner, they might try to do something, but that's where we're going to see probably the biggest fights. What was said here, it took approximately 0.2 seconds for everybody to be saying you're going to slaughter defense, you're going to hurt Social Security and Medicare. Everybody calm down. What we have been very clear about is we're not going to touch the benefits that are going to people relying on benefits under Social Security and Medicare. So that's what Republican Representative Chip Roy said. That's what a lot of Republicans are saying as well. So I'm not sure what exactly is going on. There have been no proposed changes to cut Social Security, mainly just the Democrats accusing the Republicans of cutting it and the Republicans saying, no, we're not cutting it. So yeah, we got to get to the bottom of what's really going on. Moving on to stimulus check data. So California extends inflation relief payment schedule, issuing 460,000 more direct payments. So the inflation relief checks for California, the Golden State stimulus checks, were supposed to wrap up on Saturday, January 14th, which is in just a couple of days. But there's been some issues, there's been some delays. So what they are going to do now, what was said here, or actually no, not there. Where was it? So, okay. So there are people who missed the payments and all that. But people whose addresses have changed since they filed their 2020 taxes may have their debit card sent out between January 30th and February 14th. So if you did not receive your Golden State stimulus check yet in California, looks like it's not going to wrap up January 14th. There's still another month of that going out. So stay tuned for that. I'll give you more updates. One-time direct payment up to $800 only available for final month. This is going on in South Carolina, $800 checks. I got one of these, which is pretty cool. So it was supposed to, I think it's supposed to end this month. So if you didn't receive it yet, and you didn't provide your information, it looks like the deadline is February 15th. So got a month for that. If you live in South Carolina, to provide your information for those $800 checks. I got that maybe about a month ago. I was surprised to get it. It was pretty cool. And then federal direct payments of $1,200 going out to millions under $14.8 billion pot. So I mentioned this the other day. This is from the IRS, made a big announcement that they're sending out checks worth on average between $1,232 to taxpayers who had unemployment. This is back in 2020. So if you had unemployment and you paid taxes on those unemployment, then you're getting those taxes back that you paid, a certain percentage, which equals out to around $1,200 on average. So for anyone who got unemployment in 2020, you could see a check coming your way. Looks like it's going to a lot of people. This is as a result of the American Rescue Plan Act, kind of like a retroactive unemployment pay. So that'll be good for a lot of people, actually. I think it's millions of people. Yeah, 12 million people. So that's pretty good. And then Bernie Sanders. So Senator Bernie Sanders urges Moderna not to hike price of COVID-19 vaccines. So you may be thinking, COVID's done. What's up with this? What's up with the vaccine? Well, not a lot of people are talking about this, especially probably only Bernie Sanders is really talking about it. Maybe the rest of the politicians in Wall Street or in Congress are getting paid off by the pharmaceutical industries through lobbying and campaign efforts and all that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how much the pharmaceutical industry is screwing the people. Bernie Sanders explains it perfect, but you would think that if the government is funding all the research for those COVID vaccines, that Moderna wouldn't have to raise it. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong here. Take a look at what Bernie Sanders has to say.
You wrote a letter to Moderna about this, and in this, you called the price hike that they're considering outrageous. I also want to read for you what we, at least so far, have heard from Moderna about this. The CEO telling the Wall Street Journal on Monday, "I would think this type of price is consistent with the value of the vaccine." Have you heard anything back from Moderna?
Not yet. But look, what you're seeing here in Moderna is the tip of the iceberg in terms of what goes on with the pharmaceutical industry. We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. In some cases, 10 times more, the same exact drug sold in other countries. In terms of Moderna, here's the story. This vaccine was discovered in partnership with the NIH, with a government agency supported by the taxpayers of this country. In addition, the government put $1.9 billion into research and development for Moderna, and then guaranteed Moderna billions of dollars in sales. And then, as a thank you to the taxpayers of this country, what Moderna says is after we deplete the government supply of free vaccines, they're going to quadruple the price of that vaccine. And meanwhile, they're going to charge whatever it is, $110 a vaccine. It costs them about $2 to produce that vaccine. And then on top of all of that, in the last few years, since this vaccine has been on the market, you got the CEO of the company making billions of dollars, becoming a multi-billionaire, as well as other executives. So the taxpayers of this country who put money into the vaccine in order to protect the health and lives of the American people are now creating billionaires in an industry, in a company, that it's going to quadruple prices for the American people. That is outrageous, that is unacceptable, and we've got to do something about that.
You've noted, and also Elizabeth Cohen was just explaining it as well, that not all Americans are going to be paying out of pocket for this. You've Medicare, Medicaid, and other government health care plans. They'll continue to cover the cost of vaccines for patients. So I wonder, from your perspective, you say you need to do something about this. What is an acceptable solution to you?
Okay, let's be clear. Medicare and Medicaid will pay for it. We'll cover the individual, but they're going to have to pay the higher price, and that costs taxpayers money. And then you got, tens of millions of Americans who are uninsured or underinsured, and there is no private insurance company. Medicare, Medicaid are not going to cover them. They're going to have to pay out of pocket. I think the bottom line here is that we are looking at strategies in how to deal with it. But I think the area we have got to focus on is if the taxpayers of this country put money through the NIH into developing a drug, and it's certainly not just the COVID vaccine, many cancer drugs as well, should they then be forced to pay the highest prices in the world for a drug which they helped develop? And I think the answer is obviously no. So if taxpayers are going to pay for the research and development, they need to make sure that the product being produced is affordable.
We'll wait and see how Moderna responds. CNN, we are seeking comment from Moderna on this one as well.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree with Bernie Sanders? I think it makes no sense that the pharmaceutical industries are charging 4 times the price when, it only costs $2 for them to do it. But that's America, I guess. Everything with pharmaceuticals is very expensive. For example, my surgery for my ankle was very expensive. And everything else around it, which is crazy compared to if you go to another country, it's probably like a quarter of the price. So yeah, it's pretty wild what's going on in America with the pharmaceutical industry. Anyways, that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you that something that you should really do. Like if you make a mistake, learn by experience and make mistakes. And I see you in the next video. Hi guys. Ice bleeding. Don't say that. Hi guys. I wish them breathe and see. I could. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. Don't forget about the $200 checks. And I'm going to my daughter's pool today to do some exercises for my ankle. Starting to walk a little more now. And it's gonna do some practice. And hopefully, I'm hoping in a week I'll be able to walk normal. I can walk, but I'm very shaky, and I can walk, but it's just very tough. But getting there. Anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos, click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.